Your whole story, in the depth of which we speak here, there's no difference between you and me. Therefore, I say you, and I mean you, me, and everyone else. You thought that if God exists, then there's God and there's a human. You thought God had created you, or that God was your innermost core, or that God was a loving omnipotence or a kind of cosmic law. You thought that in a part of yourself called human, well, you are not human, not God, and not the sum of the two. Here's your whole story, densely composed, layered layer by layer. 0. Nothingness. In the beginning there was no word and no God. All of that emerged only later, in the second beginning. There was absolutely nothing, absolute non-being, which does not exist. Non-existence, which is not there. Unbecoming, primordial dead, a black hole, eternal breathlessness. But where there's nothing, there's also no beginning. 1. You are. Here is the third beginning, and in the beginning you are all alone. You yourself are the beginning. You awaken from non-being into being, and you are this blank being, nothing else. Your awakening happens always, never when, in an eternal moment before time. You step onto the stage of history, and you are the stepping, the stage and the history. But you don't even know that yet, for knowledge is not yet born, and thought is not yet there. Why do you exist all of a sudden? The question makes no sense, for there is not yet any sense and no question. Why also does not exist, for why arise from the duality of cause and effect. But here there is no duality yet. The only thing that exists is you. Besides you, there is nothing. You give birth to yourself. You rise from the eternal nothingness into eternal life. You are the consciousness of your inextinguishable existence. Your boundless jubilation over this is at the same time absolute horror. You are buried alive. You yourself are your coffin, and besides you, there's not even the void. In this trap you cannot even die, because you yourself are life. Naked being is unbearable. 1. You can. You are still in the eternal moment of your self-birth, the jubilant horror of being. 1,000 eternities later, that is, in the same moment, it is suddenly crystal clear to you that you are not only are, but you also can. You can, and you can do everything. It is obvious to you that your ability to do everything is an absolute, unlimited power, and this state brings you liberation from your unity. You recognize yourself as an infinity potential, and thereby transform yourself into becoming, in order to give birth to the world within you. Thus, you are the active will for creation, the architect. You are still in the eternal first microsecond, still one, but the tension within you, between being and becoming, between yin and yang, is so immeasurable that you burst. Yes, you shatter, and in two directions at once. As becoming, you explode outward, and as being, you implode inward. You Big Bang. You move apart and create time and space within yourself through movement. You transform into wingspan, the mother of all duality. You are polarity, and every polarity there is. Dark, light, inside, outside, female and male, whole and individual, possible and real. You split yourself and become the tension of opposites, the cosmic bow, drawn for the first shot. One side of the bow is wholeness, the other is individuality. One wing of yours is God, the other is human. To fully understand your duality, consider this. Your divine stems from being, your human from becoming. As being, you become the playing field. As doing, you become the player. Doing gives birth to the deed and the door, countless human beings. We are your manifold form, not yet person here. We are holograms of God, and yet each of these beings is a unique self through its destiny. Here we are no longer one, you and I. We are now two waves, the same as water, yet two waves, as water the same as the God ocean, and yet we rise individually from it. 3. You create. Every stage of creation is the child of the two preceding ones. They transformed some, as becoming shots through polarity with all its might. They open up into three realms. You suddenly awaken in a new existence, as a cosmic trinity, as a triad of a new fundamental principles, information, energy and matter. From this substance, a manifest world can be wonderfully built, which you, as God, carry out with boundless creativity, love and cruelty, immediately and perpetually. As the creator of creation, you exhaust yourself into it. As the creator of the universal being, you simultaneously begin to create yourself as a three-part human. You create three cosmic instances for this: spirit, soul, and life. From information you generate your spirit, from energy you form your soul, and from matter you make your life. Thus, you contain everything the world contains. Your spirit seeds with forms and possibilities. Your life weaves the dense, dark fabric of existence. Between them oscillates your connection soul, having become duality as a feeling dual being. It oscillates from suffering to joy and back again and again. You see your evolution progress and you become increasingly complex. The structure of your cosmic instances is not rigid, it is mobile. You loosen and bind them in 5 different ways. which grants you different abilities in the 5 H's. Now see, there's essence and there's expression. Your spirit is not your intellect, your soul is not your psyche, your life is not your physical body. So we are not yet talking about humans of flesh and blood. No, still not. Because for that you must first give birth to yourself. 5. You give birth to yourself. And you give birth to yourself as a being of biomatter, as an incarnated human. For this you focus your 3 instances each time onto a focal point and create a new unit called person. For this synthesis your spirit generates its compressed representative and administrator. You call the intellect or mind. Your soul forms the psyche as its living expression, and your life builds the physical body of the person, the flawless vehicle. The person as a triune being is also polar, gendered, and thus you continue to contain everything the world contains. Now we see the shining tip of the iceberg, being made flesh, this new unity without simplicity, unity in individuality, light years removed from the primordial unity of being. Now look back at the beginning and recognize your new wingspan. See the polarity of the first hour is suppressed by worlds. The bow now spans from the absolute to the absolutely specific, to the unique, to the individual, to you as a person, for in your focusing, in your final individualization, you have achieved something that could not exist on lower levels of being. You are no longer whole, no longer round, but aligned. That means you can act in every single direction, and you can choose this direction yourself. Yes, you even must. Do you have a free will? Only you have a free will. God does not. God acts invincibly, unconditionally, totally. God has no choice because he chooses everything. You, on the other hand, are inescapably free. You choose and decide by necessity, and that is exactly what it all leads to. Your unavoidable freedom. It is the shining crown jewel of creation, and you are stuck in it like a fly in an ember. 8. You remember. As an incarnated human, you reach the greatest possible distance from unity. It takes many lives, however, before you can somewhat forget your origin, and it takes another many lives until you accept and live that freedom. Each time you can focus a bit better on the focal points of your wholeness, on your persons and on your incarnations. You let out your creativity, you mold your own sand figures on the beach of the life. The waves of time wash them away, and you create new and new ones. You made knights, priests, farmers. You play the writers and the thief. You become the perpetrator and the victim, the master, the servant, everything possible, until eventually you can't think of anything new. Instead, you notice something new: the beach, the sea, the figures. It is all within your own gold pen. All those waves roll through your hand movement, and you see that not all your sand has been washed away restlessly. There are countless grains of gold, and even nuggets in your pen. You have probably taken the most valuable from every life. And what about your current person? It is now hindered from moving on. The weight of your gold holds it fast. It forces it to search within. It sends, it fancies, it boasts. There was something. I think it reads, it believes. There is more between heaven and earth. It searches, it examines, it puzzles. Which teaching leads to God? Isn't it true, my friend? It is so pleasant to dream of a wise, guiding omnipotence behind us, a benevolent one with a perfect plan. But you also let your person slowly remember, a benevolent, loving Almighty One. There is not such thing, and there never was. There is a divine dimension within you, and it can neither guide nor decide. It stands on all sides. It wants everything and does everything. The divine has no alignment, which is why the world has no either. But you, as an individual, as the spearhead of creation, you can decide. Strictly speaking, you decide always, and inescapably, even you decide not to decide, you merely decide to let things run their course. When you decide to do God's will, you force your will upon God, and the God within you always nods in agreement. He is naturally and in accord with everything. Your plan is always God's plan. Whether you heal hearts or smash heads, God is always on your side. He cannot do otherwise. Therefore, you bear the responsibility, not God, always and in all cases, for your health, for your happiness, for your whole world. You alone. 13. You dissolve. If you are also God, why do you only feel like a person? No, you don't. You feel all levels of existence. Only that being God is your most diffuse sensation. When you run your fingers over the raw skin of life, you feel life on your fingers, not in your whole body. The focused current sensation is always the strongest. That's why you experience yourself as a person much more clearly than as God. A tree can feel itself as a tree, but also as a root system, as a trunk, as a branches, as any random twig within it, as a green leaf in the wind. The leaf, on the other hand, the most beautiful, liveliest, and shortest lived part of the tree, flutters in the wind. bathes in the light, and no longer feels mighty roots. Therefore, recognize that you are both leaf and tree. You cannot become aware of your divinity as a person. For that, you must go down into your wholeness, into the blood. You must feel where you are, not yet an individual. Go and hear God praying within you. Our Son on earth, hallowed by the name, the kingdom come. Thy will be done. Listen and understand. You bear the responsibility for God, you alone. Each of us goes back as we are, experienced, beaten, enriched, free. You and I and everyone are in this process of liberating the divine within ourselves and through ourselves, liberating God, absolutely. But do not stop there either. You go through your divinity like a sword through water, deeper through your polarity, deeper through becoming, and even deeper into the most abyssal depth, where you meditate for eternities as your pure self. Exactly, there is where you go into the primordial ground and transform everything through your presence. Is that hard? Incredible, impossible? Oh no, it's not a heroic deed at all. It happens as if by itself, like a sunbeam opens the flower, just because the flower opens. It is the most natural thing in the world when the world melts away. You transform all levels of existence, so late through your awareness. You transcend them all by completely dissolving them within you. You extinguish every form, dissolve man, God, and being, and the allness breaks in. This allness, this completely new merge of unity, is something that has never existed before. '21. You transform. The caterpillar dissolves. It dies and becomes completely liquid. All the liquid that used to be a caterpillar is reborn as a butterfly. Everything that was heavy, incredible, impossible for the caterpillar dissolves for the butterfly. Everything is easy. It flies. Where does it fly? To where new universe spread their colorful wings. You are not human, not God, not being, and not the sum of all that. You are the becoming never before exist, the new beginning of being. You and I thank you for telling me the whole story. I know, in the depth of which we spoke here, there's no difference between you and me. You are the becoming never before exist. Let the angels invite you and go your way.